Now at 10, a nonprofit group in Joplin teaches immigrants new skills to help them settle into a new life.
Plus, we're tracking snowfall for your Friday morning. I have all the details.
And winter weather can make driving dangerous. We're going to have ways to stay safe on the roads.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We're just hours away from the arrival of winter weather. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Snowfall is making our way into the area. Chloe Arroyo joins us now with a first look at the weather.
That's right. We're almost there. I can almost smell it from here. We are going to see some snowfall into your early Friday morning. So just as Dow said, here in a couple of hours, anywhere from a dusting to an inch for southwestern Missouri. Pushing further west, we could see an inch to 2, even up to 4 inches for some of our further western counties. Now, the timing on this, 6 a.m. to noon, or eastern counties will see minimal impacts in terms of road conditions, but our western counties might see a little bit more of elevated impacts, especially in the early morning hours. Now, temperatures right now hanging slightly above freezing for the most part, but we're slowly but surely going to get into those freezing ranges, which will make us suitable for that winter weather. Now, coming up in a bit, I'll have the details on that, as well as round 2 for next week and frigid temperatures ahead. All the details coming up.
See you in a few. MoDOT is standing by to treat the roads in preparation for the winter weather. They're holding off for now in case it rains. If it does rain, the treatment, they say, would just wash away. They plan to plow tomorrow, though, and they're going to make plans for next week's weather as well. The department says it's hopeful for tomorrow, but is taking no chances, and neither should drivers.
Some rain, it can still flash freeze on you. But this one tomorrow, it looks like the ground temps are going to be pretty good. We're hopeful that we can just plow this one off. That's kind of our plan going in. But there could be some slick spots, especially those bridges that are elevated. They freeze first. We all know that. So drivers just need to be on the lookout for that tomorrow morning.
Now, if necessary, some local drivers could be reassigned to help in the Kansas City area. AAA is urging drivers to be prepared for the conditions and to remain cautious if they're out on the roads. Make certain your tires have good tread and are properly inflated. Have the battery checked by a professional to ensure it's strong enough to face cold weather. Keep your gas tank at least half full to avoid gas line freeze-up. Ensure the windshield wiper blades are in good condition and the wiper fluid reservoir is full, and make sure all lights are working properly. A nonprofit in Joplin is impacting legal immigrants and refugees, the families in the area. In 2023, the Refugee and Immigrant Services and Education, RAISE, supported almost 90 people in the area. KOAM's Fernandez Silva spoke to a refugee from Colombia who shared how RAISE is helping him make Joplin his home.
Harman Menaca moved to Joplin last November. Things in Colombia, where he is from, were not easy. We experienced a family tragedy. A long story unfolded in which we felt like our lives were under threat. Menaca was looking for safety for him and his daughter. At the end of 2023, they became refugees in the United States. But starting anew in another country is not easy, especially when unable to speak English. It's something complex, but we have technology and that helps us. Menaca also found support at RAISE, a Joplin-based nonprofit that provides the tools immigrants and refugees families need to be successful in the U.S.
They're expected to be self-sufficient in a very short amount of time. And so that's where the Joplin community can come in, where they can not only just have a job here, and they kind of create these isolated communities like we've seen in other places, but we want them to feel welcomed well here in Joplin. And we want them to integrate well into our community so they can be an asset to our little town here.
It's just a simple thing. It brings them a smile, and you don't know how much you really impact in their heart.
Amina Harman is a case manager at RAISE, but she knows exactly what it means to be facing challenges at home. The Rwandan native didn't have an easy childhood.
When I was 5 years old, I lost my parents in genocide. They came in and started cutting everyone. We started running all over we could run. And when they came in, my mom hid me under the chair in church. And she said, if you want to survive, you have to quiet no matter what happens.
That was the last time Harmon saw her mom. This is only one of the heartbreaking stories Amina had been through.
Asking them food, they spit in my hands and kick me away.
But her life got better after moving to the United States, especially now when she's supporting people with a similar background.
Watching them growing, watching them know their life it's not just ending, it's just beginning, and it's not a lot of people who get that chance or the opportunity to know I'm in the beginning of a new chapter.
Creo mucho en Dios.
I believe strongly in God, and I know that arriving this country through the front door has been a tremendous blessing.
Llegar a ese país por la puerta grande.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Raised started in Knoll, Missouri in 2017 and expanded into Joplin during the 2021 Afghanistan evacuation. For 2024, the nonprofit plans to support up to 200 people. To learn how to help raise, go to our website, koamnewsnow.com. Later in sports, host team Joplin hits the hardwood against Union. John has the highlights from the day's matchups in the Kaminsky Classic in a few minutes. And the city of Joplin enlists the public to help them take down some Christmas lights.
Severe plaque psoriasis. Thanks to Skyrizi, I'm playing with clear.
A sixth grade student was killed today when a gunman opened fire at a high school in Perry, Iowa. Connor Powell reports.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds thanking officers for their quick action in responding to reports of an active shooter at Perry High School.
As we all know, every minute counts. And their heroic actions today, we can say, saved lives.
Still, at least one victim died, a sixth grade student, and 5 other people were injured according to Iowa authorities. They say the shooter, a 17-year-old student named Dylan Butler, also died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Butler was armed with a pump-action shotgun and a small-caliber handgun.
Investigators say officers found an improvised explosive device while searching the school.
It was pretty rudimentary, and it was rendered safe by, like I said, the State Fire Marshal and the ATF.
As the investigation continues, the community now left grieving.
It is absolutely a nightmare. This is absolutely horrible. One of the worst moments of my entire life.
Thursday was scheduled to be the first day of school for the new semester, according to the district's calendar. Classes for Friday have been canceled.
This senseless tragedy has shaken our entire state to the core, and I want this community to know that every Iowan stands with you.
I'm Connor Powell, reporting.
Officials say they're still working on determining a motive. That Iowa school shooting comes just days before the first primary contest of the 2024 presidential election. Candidates and the president will all be there for the Iowa caucuses, and they're reacting to that shooting. Natalie Brand has that story.
Shortly after the school shooting in Perry, Iowa, presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy was scheduled to hold a campaign event just a mile and a half away.
It's very scary having them walk your kid out with a gun and officer.
Instead, it turned into a prayer and informal conversation with voters.
I don't think it's, they're too easily accessible to firearms or anything like that. I think it's an outcry, like you said, with the mental health crisis.
Ramaswamy tweeting, "Pray for the community," and blaming it on, quote, a psychological sickness. Candidate Nikki Haley also offered condolences, tweeting, "No parent, student, or teacher should have to wake up and face news about a school shooting."
We're praying for everyone. My team has been in touch with law enforcement on the ground in Perry, Iowa at the school there. But again, praying for everyone that was affected by the shooting.
Democrats and President Biden have called for sweeping changes to gun legislation, from universal background checks to reinstating an assault weapons ban.
It's only the 4th day in the year, in the new year, and we are already faced with yet another horrific school shooting. And the question that we ask is, when will enough be enough?
Last year, the White House launched an Office of Gun Violence Prevention, but significant changes to the nation's gun laws would require action on Capitol Hill.
The motion is agreed to.
In 2022, Congress passed the first major bipartisan gun safety legislation in nearly 30 years, following the massacre of 19 students and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Former President Trump was holding a campaign event in Ankeny, Iowa tonight. Hundreds of pages from a civil suit involving Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, they were unsealed last night. Former President Bill Clinton and Britain's Prince Andrew are 2 of Jeffrey Epstein's most high-profile associates publicly named in the more than 900 pages of mostly unredacted documents. While the documents help flesh out what many have known about Epstein for years, it's unlikely that the revealed names will lead to more legal action. Getting good quality sleep at midlife might help prevent cognitive decline later on. Researchers at the University of California, San Francisco followed about 500 people with an average age of 40 over 11 years. They found those who had the most disrupted sleep were twice as likely to have poor memory and thinking problems. That's compared to those with the least disrupted sleep. A little bit later, 8 teams, 1 tournament. John has highlights from day 1 of the Kaminsky Classic basketball tournament that's coming up in sports.
Plus, we're tracking snowfall for your Friday morning. I'll tell you when and where, and all the details coming up next.
Body and soul transformation.
You know, if we're gonna have frigid cold temperatures, why not have snow along with it? Let's dive right into that. We'll see some snow Friday morning, but first, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. This is just west of Seneca, Missouri. A clear parking lot right now, but won't be the case in the morning. That's when we'll see all of the action. Temperatures right now, a little bit above freezing. Miami at 37, Grove and Jay are at 36, Nevada 32, Lamar 34, Iola. You're hanging around at 31 degrees right now, so we're all slowly starting to dip down. We will be in the lower 30s, upper 20s heading into tonight, which will be suitable for that snowfall. But here's a look at your feel-like temperatures throughout the weekend. We'll see those feeling like in the lower 30s. Most of the time, we'll feel like we're below freezing, so keep that in mind because your body is going to react to the feel-like temperature more than anything. So make sure you're bundling up throughout the rest of the weekend and hopefully staying indoors as much as you possibly can. Snowfall potential Friday morning. You guys can see anywhere from a dusting to an inch for southwestern Missouri. As you head a little further westward, that's when you can see up to 2 to 4 inches in our further western counties. So keep that in mind. Timing anywhere from 6 a.m. to noon is when we'll see accumulation. That's not when we'll be finished for the day, but we won't see any more in terms of accumulation past the afternoon hours. Eastern counties could see minimal impacts, but as you head a little further western down in southeastern Kansas as well as northeastern Oklahoma, you guys may have a little bit more of an elevated risk for those road conditions to be a little bit impacted. So keep that in mind for your commutes throughout the weekend. Here's your future track throughout Friday morning. We'll see that snow enter the picture for the majority of us. This is about 6 a.m. and then it'll be pretty widespread across the viewing area by noon. Here's 11:30. This is when we're going to see a break afterwards before we see some scattered showers, some of which could be some snow showers, especially in our further western counties. Like I said, at this point, we won't see much in terms of accumulation because these temperatures, take a look at them, they're above freezing, upper 30s, lower 40s. So at that point, we'll see some snowfall, but by the time it hits the ground, it'll be a little too warm for it to stick around. Friday night, we'll see some showers, a little bit more isolated, and then we'll clear out by early Saturday morning. Here's your snow-o-meter. Road impacts, very minimal, but something to keep in mind, especially for those further western counties. So early morning commutes, later evening commutes, those are the 2 ones to keep in mind. Afternoon hours, not as much. Speaking of the weekend, heading into the weekend, Saturday afternoon, your high 39 degrees. So it's going to be pretty cold. Sunday will only warm up to the mid to upper 40s for a lot of us. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. It's going to be cold, a cold one for the next few days, but we'll see a break on Sunday, mostly sunny skies before we see Monday and Tuesday. That's another bigger system that we're tracking before we see a break, and then even another chance for some showers and possibly snow next Friday and Saturday. So pretty active 10-day forecast.
So we really haven't seen snow to speak of this season, so I guess that could change in the coming week.
Exactly.
Chloe,
yes.
Thanks. Spiva Park in Joplin showed off its holiday glory in recent weeks, but today brought the inevitable task of taking down those Christmas lights. Members of the public showed up to help unwrap lights from trees and bushes and pack them away neatly for next year. Organizers said packing away the lights without the tangles should give them years of use.
You know, doing the whole round your elbow thing and then zip tying them so that they're all kind of one, you know, each one worked well last year, and it's a nice way to kind of keep them from getting overly tangled so that we can reuse them next year and as long as possible. They're all LED lights, so they should last several years.
Hot chocolate was on hand to help keep everyone toasty and warm. Still ahead, the 2024 Kaminsky Classic tips off at Joplin High School. 4 of our local teams are in action. John Dales has highlights from all of today's games coming up next.
Casino Resort.
The 25th edition of the Kaminsky Classic basketball tournament tips off this afternoon at Joplin. It features 4 local high schools from Southwest Missouri, as well as 4 making the trip from areas across the state, including St. Louis and Kansas City. William Chrisman makes the trip to Joplin to play in the Kaminsky Classic. Webb City is its opponent. Cardinals down by 13 in the third quarter until this three-pointer from Baron Duda brings them back within 10. Webb City roaring back from that point on. Holton Keith getting a couple defenders in the air. He scores plus the foul. That had tied at 50. Then, with under 3 minutes left, Eli Pace finishes a righty layup. That gives the Cards their first lead of the game. William Crispin wouldn't go away, though. Trey Taylor gets the hoop and the harm to put the Bears back on top with 2 minutes to go. We'd go to overtime in the extra session. 30 seconds left. Cards down by 2. Eli Pace nails the 3 to put Webb City in the lead. But hang on, still 15 seconds left. Taylor again, this time from downtown. That'd be the game winner. Webb City with a great comeback, but the Cards fall 63-60 in overtime. Second game of the day, Carl Junction facing 9-1 Francis Howell. Bulldogs hanging in there early. First minute of the game, Brody Pant takes a 3 and makes a 3 that knots us up at 3 apiece. On the other end, Owen Larrigan left open on the baseline. He hits the jumper. Vikings go back in front by 1. But back and forth we go. CJ with the response. Jet Hocutt gets the friendly bounce. Bulldogs back on top by 1 point. In the second quarter now, take a look at this no-look pass into the layup for Wyatt McAfee down to Pant. The Vikings really started to pull away in that quarter, though. First, it's Will Paulson, all 6'7" of him, hitting the 3. Then Dallas Thornton finishing off the fast break with a layup. Francis Howell runs away with the 81-51, the final score. CJ's going to see Webb City tomorrow at 2. Neosho against Poplar Bluff. That's our third game of the Kaminsky Classic. Starting off in the first quarter, Caden Asbury left open in the corner, just a sophomore, but he's going to make you pay when you leave him open. Three-pointer ties the game at 10. Later in the quarter, Tyrone Harris finding space in the lane, finishes with the layup. Wildcats down by 2. Closing seconds of the first half, Poplar Bluff has a matchup it likes, and it executes. Preston Moore hits the 3. Mules go into the halftime, locker rooms leading by 10. Third quarter now, nice ball movement here. Caden Asbury gets the open turnaround shot. He leads Neosho with 15 points in the game. Mules, though, got every basket they needed when they needed it. Brendan Durden makes the 3. That'd ice it. Wildcats lose a tough one tonight. Poplar Bluff defeats Neosho 69-45. And in our nightcap from round 1 of the tournament, the hosts, Joplin, facing the Wildcats of Union. Early in the first quarter, Kieran Wurz gets a tough basket to fall friendly roll on the road. Union takes a 14-0 lead to start the game. Joplin trying to stop the bleeding. This will help. Trenton Gage hits the short jumper from the paint. Next possession, here's Gage again. Back-to-back points for him as he hits the layup. Eagles showing some life. Second quarter now, David Benz dribbles inside baseline. He gets the easy bucket. Eagles down by 16 at halftime. Opening minutes of the third quarter, Whit Hafer strong to the basket, follows his own miss, gets points on the putback. Union just never backed down in this one though. Cameron Service also, he's going to follow his own miss, gets the points. Eagles make up some ground in the second half, not enough though. Union beats Joplin 50-42. So yes, if you're keeping score, our local teams go 0 for 4, but they all face each other tomorrow. That means we're guaranteed 2 wins.
That's right, and 2 losses.
Yeah.
Unless there's ties, if that's even possible. We'll be right back.
He wishes you hero.
Hey, some folks in Joplin tonight put on their roller skates and took a spin, maybe a spell, I don't know. Roller City Entertainment hosted an adults-only skating experience. It's a chance for newer adult skaters to get used to it. Officials say it provides a unique atmosphere.
It runs in the blood. My granddad, he was a champion speed skater. He started working here. He kind of helped shape the business back before it was Roller City, and this place building really kind of means a lot to me. And honestly, my kids, they come in here and they're carrying on the tradition speed skating.
Roller City Entertainment hosts an adults-only skating night on the first Thursday of every month, so you might want to check it out. Either of you skaters?
No.
No?
I wish. I really wish.
I did way back when, but
I can see you doing that.
oh yeah.
There you go.
Not for long, maybe 3 seconds. The weather, it's going to be kind of slippery possibly, whether you're on skates or not in the days ahead.
That was a smooth transition. That was really good.
There
It's
you
so
go.
true. Yes, we'll have a chance for some snow early Friday morning. And Saturday, Sunday, we'll see a little bit of a break before we see another chance for some snow beginning of next week.
Final sports notes.
Colgan boys basketball beats Baxter Springs tonight, stays undefeated.
Wow, good for them. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. Be careful out there and let's make it a great tomorrow.